Well, good morning, good morning. Good morning from Massachusetts. Thank you for joining me. Thank you so much. We have about a half hour or so together. I hope more people will be joining the live chat. Let me check my laptop to make sure audio and video are okay. You can also let me know in the comments if you can see me and hear me well. Looking good on the laptop. If you're watching on a smaller device, I hope it's also everything is okay, the video and the audio. Okay. Well, super. I'm here in Massachusetts, and I don't know if anyone's joining me for the first time. If you are, thank you and welcome. I go live once a month, and everyone can watch and learn together. But if you're a member of my YouTube channel, you can post questions in advance, and you can join the live chat. After the live stream is over, I will come up with a follow-up task so that you can extend your learning and get some practice. So if that all sounds good to you, then click that join button, because then you can become a YouTube member and get some cool perks besides the ones I just mentioned. So click, look at the perks, and then you'll be able to join the live chat. If you don't see the join button, I'm very sorry. It's just that YouTube doesn't make the program available in every single country around the world, but never fear, you can still watch and learn along. I also have free videos on Instagram. If you don't follow me there, make sure you do. English with Jennifer Lebedev. I have lots of reels and older posts there, so there's lots of ways you can study with me regardless, okay? So I'll be talking about different opportunities. Feel free to post new questions, members, in the chat. I'll do my best to answer them. We do have one question that was a very interesting question that was sent in, and I've prepared the answer, but I can also answer questions on the spot. Do you know that expression? On the spot, right? Without preparation. So hopefully I have the answers here. And if I don't, I'll take the time to do some research and get you the answer. I like answering questions. Questions test my knowledge, and questions push me to learn more as well. Teachers don't have all the answers. Teachers are also learners as well. So I'm hoping more people will join me. We have, well, 45 people. That's nice. For me, it's 9:04 in the morning. You can let me know where you are and what time it is. Aha, stunning lad, someone from the UK. Thumb ho, good to see you. Another nice expression, long time no see. Well, I'm here every month, so you know how to find me. Manuel is here too. Good to have you here, one of my regulars. Feels like ages. Oh, you guys have some good expressions. Look at that, guys. We're not even 5 minutes into the live stream, and you've picked up on the spot, meaning without preparation. Long time no see. When there's time in between visits or meetings, you can say that sometimes as a joke. Like even if you saw your friend 1 hour ago and you keep running into your friend, maybe at school or at work, you can say, ha, long time no see, and it becomes a joke because obviously you did see the person. But it's most suitable and most used when there is a long time between visits, long time no see. Okay, feels like ages. Ages refers to a long period of time. Lots of good expressions to learn, and hopefully after the live stream you'll walk away with more. Indeed. Good expression. On the spot. So today is Friday for me, busy Friday. I have at least one more private lesson after this, and I have to do some shopping. For me, it is a holiday weekend. I will be celebrating Easter with my family on Sunday, so to all celebrating, happy Easter to you. You can let me know in the chat what your plans are for the weekend. Are you doing anything special? I'd be curious to know. I just got a little notification from YouTube saying there could be some problems with streaming. I hope not. Fingers crossed. There's another expression. Let's write that one down, right? Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I say that when I want good luck. Yes, those who are celebrating today is a special day. It is Good Friday. So leading up to Easter, there is a number of things to observe. So today is Good Friday for those who are observing that. Alrighty, guys, let me work my magic and share my screen and tell you about some interesting and exciting opportunities. I'm going to share my screen and hope that you see what I see. Okay. As the live stream began, you might have seen a short clip. I collaborated with Chelsea from Amigo. You may remember her from another video I did, a collab video with a number of teachers, and we talked about the myths of becoming fluent in English. Chelsea was one of the contributors. Chelsea is the co-owner, co-creator of Amigo, and we created a few reels and shorts to share with you and tell you about our plans for the next 5 weeks. Let's see if you can see. I hope so. Okay, great. All right, so guess what? Another thing I'm doing this busy weekend is I'm starting the speaking club with Amigo. So we had thought we'd start in March, but then we decided to wait. We chose a different day, not Sunday, because we would have been having class on Easter, which isn't a great thing. So now we're having class on Saturdays, and the first workshop is tomorrow. And Chelsea's brother, the co-owner, co-creator of Amigo, is keeping registration open just a little bit more. So after this live stream, there's just enough time before the window closes. If you're still thinking about this opportunity, think quick, think fast, and register. Today is the last chance to register. You have just a couple more hours, 2 or 3, and then we will meet tomorrow on Saturday. For me, it will be 12 noon. I will be there all 5 Saturdays, 12 noon Boston time. We have about an hour and plus a little bit of time at the end for Q&A. Questions and answers. So let me actually copy this. See if I can put that. And I'll stop sharing just for a moment. And I'm going to go back to the chat here and put that there. So now you have the link. If you have not signed up or if you want to learn more about this opportunity, then you can click that link and you will see what you get besides the 5 live workshops. There are pod meetings, there's access to AI technology that tracks your progress and use of the expressions that I'll be sharing with you in the live workshops. It is a speaking club, so you do lots of speaking, not just with me, but more importantly, with others. So you'll be placed with peers, with your classmates who are about at the same level, and I'll give you some interesting questions to discuss and questions that will prompt you to learn and use the expressions that I'll be sharing. And we have some everyday themes that everybody should be able to talk about and you'd want to talk about, like family, friends, health, money, career. So if all of this sounds exciting to you, please click on the link and learn more. You have just a few hours to register, okay? All right, another opportunity I want to tell you about is advanced learners can join me on Patreon. We've had a bit of a transformation. There is a new tier called Lifelong Learners because Patreon is an ongoing program. I've been on Patreon for well over a year, probably 2 years now. The majority of people signing up have been advanced, so it's really transitioned into a program for upper level learners. B2 is the minimum. Because it's quite fast-paced, we get into some deeper topics and we practice all skills. So it's not just speaking. Of course, when we meet on Zoom, there's conversation. The mics and the cameras are on. Small group interaction allows for lots of speaking time, but there are also tasks between the live events. I promise at least 4, so a pre-lesson and a post-lesson task, and I like to throw in some bonus things. So there's lots of opportunities throughout the month to gain practice, boosting all skills. You'll get my feedback. You have private private messaging with me on Patreon, and you have some community interaction. If you're advanced and this sounds like it suits your needs, try it out for a month. You just go to Patreon, I'm English with Jennifer, and you'll find me there. We have our first Zoom class next week. We'll have 1 p.m. class and 1 a.m. class because people are all over the world. And I'm trying to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to join at least one live event. So again, lots of opportunities to join me there. Okay? All right. Spanish Easter. Yes, I understand. For those in Spain, it's Holy Week. Hey, someone's there. Ma Hippo. Hello, hello to you there in Japan. Okay. All right. So we have the Speaking Club. We have Amigo, and then Patreon. And if you don't know yet, there is independent practice available to you on LingQ. LingQ is the site created by Steve Kaufman, the polyglot. I went live with him. Not live, we had an interview. He gave some helpful insights and advice. His site is called LingQ, and there is a referral link there. I'm going to also share that as well. LingQ is good for your practice if you want lots of input, listening and reading, to expose yourself to English, boost your understanding, and boost your vocabulary and grammar. Then you can put it all to use in a place like a speaking club or Patreon or another opportunity. I do have one course. This is a paid course based on movie reviews, but there are some free materials on LingQ. Try it out, see if you like it, and perhaps that could be part of your regular studies to get that input. There's some good technology there for tracking to make sure that you're keeping up and making progress. So again, I'm going to share that link as well. Let me just work my little magic here and put that in there. Lots of opportunities I'd like to share with you guys. Lots of ways to practice your English, right? Find the ways that work for you and make them a regular part of your studies. Okay? Super. On Patreon people have access to movie reviews, and probably in the future you'll gain a few more. I do love movies, and I like to share the movies that I've watched, and you'll find out which movie I saw recently in one of the exercises today. Okay? If you're a member, if you have any new questions, stick them in the chat, and I'll do my best to answer. I haven't seen any new questions added yet, so we're going to move on with the first that was sent in. Let me sip my tea. Okay. All right. Let me go a little bit bigger here. How's that? Can you see well? I hope the words are big enough. If some of you are watching on your screens, I hope, your little screens, I hope that the words are big enough for you to see. Somebody asked me about cleft sentences. And some people might be thinking, oh no, grammar again. Grammar is your friend. Grammar is all about structures, and you need structures to form your thoughts and to convey your thoughts, both in speaking and in writing. The terminology is just a way for us to talk about it. So if you have a question, you don't have to say, questions like, it has words like it, and you're trying to explain what you mean. But if you say cleft sentence, I'm like, I know what you mean. So terminology is a quick way to refer to a certain structure. That's why it's helpful. Hello. Hey, we have a new person. Realme Alex, glad to have you here. I see you in the chat. Okay. So cleft sentences, there are two types I'll share with you, the two most common, it clefts. Look at this exchange, and I'll try to have you pick out the cleft sentence. First person says, didn't Avatar win a lot of Oscars this year? Other person responds, no, it was Everything Everywhere All at Once that won a ton of Oscars. And it did. I'm not sure if you watch the Oscars, but perhaps these movies are familiar to you, by name at least. Avatar and Everything Everywhere All at Once. I've seen both, right? They both got nominated for different awards, but it was Everything Everywhere All at Once that won a ton of Oscars. It was the big winner this year, okay? So here's the question, here's the answer. In the answer, we have an it cleft. So here's the beginning with it. So what follows must be a cleft. What's a cleft? So we basically have two parts to this sentence, right? The main idea is that this movie won a ton of Oscars, but the main clause with a subject and a verb is this: it was everything, everywhere, all at once. It was that. It is the subject, linking verb, and then we have a subject complement. So my main clause is basically subject, verb, complement. Very simple. Like it was you, it was him, it was me, it was that. It was everything, everywhere, all at once. But then look what we have. We're getting information about this movie. That information that helps us identify it is an adjective clause, a relative clause, which we know is dependent. It can't stand by itself. It has to be with an independent clause. So this sentence has two parts, an independent clause and a dependent clause. So cleft sentences have two parts, a main and a dependent clause. And the adjective clause gives us a bit more information to identify something. Basically, I could say everything, everywhere, all at once won a ton of Oscars. But I'm trying to clarify and emphasize that it was this movie and not another movie, not Avatar, this one. So it clefts have two parts, right? Two clauses, a main clause, which is independent, and then the dependent clause, which is an adjective clause, okay? And we use them for emphasis or clarification. Okay. It was everything all at once. But be careful, Manuel. Remember, we're talking about a movie, it. Of course, there are people in the movie, but we can't use who as the relative pronoun. We can use that or which, right? That or which for things. So the it cleft, this is the main sentence, right? Subject, verb, complement. And then I'm referring to the movie and using the adjective clause to give information about the movie, to identify that movie as the one that won a ton of Oscars. Okay? So look at the next part. Who won for Best Actress? And by the way, in conversation, you may hear people drop that. You may hear people drop the preposition and just ask, who won Best Actress? And we understand who won the award for Best Actress, but that's a lot to say, and Americans like to be concise, so sometimes we drop words. Who won Best Actress? Who won for Best Actress? Cate Blanchett? My listener says no, it was Michelle Yeoh who won this year. Did anyone see the movie? Yeah? If you saw it, tell me. Did you like it? And are you a fan of Michelle Yeoh? All right, she's done some wonderful work, and she's very versatile. That's a good vocabulary word. Let's write that one down, versatile. I'll put it in this chat. Let me go over here. Whoops. She can play many types of roles. She can be like this wealthy, sophisticated aristocrat, like in Crazy Rich Asians. She could play just this frazzled, middle-aged wife/mom, like in Everything Everywhere All at Once. And she can play a cool martial arts character. So she can play different roles. She's very versatile. I like her. Did anyone else see the movie? Love it. Okay, it was Michelle Yeoh who won this year. So what's the main part of the sentence? Right here. It was her. It was Michelle. Subject, verb, linking verb, complement, subject complement. Okay, that's the main part of the sentence, the main clause. We want to give information about Michelle and identify her as the person who won. That's my adjective or relative clause with a relative pronoun. She's a person, we use who, unlike the film where we used that. So it clefts have two parts, and we're using it for clarification or for emphasis. No, it wasn't Avatar. It was that other movie. No, it wasn't Cate Blanchett. Cate Blanchett was nominated, but it was Michelle Yeoh who won this year. Yes, Ma Hippo wrote, I watched it and laughed a lot. I like it. Hey, Daniela. Good to have you here. So Ma Hippo and I are giving it a thumbs up, and we recommend it. If you have not seen Everything Everywhere All at Once, just try to see it. You have to have a very open mind because it is very strange. I didn't know what to expect, and I got sucked in, and I loved it. And it's over 2 hours, but it's a good 2+ hours. Let me write that expression as well. I got sucked in. What does that mean? All right. I was thinking, okay, I'm going to just watch the first 15 minutes and see if I like it. And no, it's just like you got to watch until the end. So I got sucked in. I just couldn't stop. My attention was there. I was fully engaged and very interested. And I wanted to see the whole film. Very bizarre, very interesting, very well done, very original. Yeah, drawn in could be another way. Yes, I loved it. Okay, so you try. The new Avatar and Top Gun movies didn't win for Best Picture. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once won for Best Picture. I'll pause for a moment and see if you can come up with your own cleft sentences based on these ideas. So you have to start with it, linking verb, subject complement, plus an adjective clause. Take a moment. Okay. Love the activity, guys, but let's get back to the it clefts. Let's form them. Okay, I'm going to scroll down. Oops. Give you a sneak peek there. So here, it, past tense. So we're going to use my linking verb in the past and its negative. It wasn't what? We use these two movies. We're going to take this information and use it in the adjective clause. I'm talking about things, so I need to choose a relative pronoun that's appropriate. I'll use that. Whoopsies. I'm having trouble typing today. Okay, and so if someone says, oh yeah, was it Avatar? Did Avatar win? Did Top Gun win? No. I could say the new Avatar and Top Gun movies didn't win. And I could use the emphasis in my voice especially on the auxiliary verb, on the helping verb. Listen, the new Avatar and Top Gun movies didn't win for Best Picture. Or I can use an it clef. It wasn't Avatar and Top Gun that won for Best Picture. Okay. Yes. Excellent. Stunning lad when, my hippo, you're on a roll. There's a good expression. On a roll. On a roll means everything's going well. You're getting things right, one after the other. Good for you. So let's take what you have. We're going to copy the name. It's a long name, isn't it? Relative clause, relative pronoun, that, because it's a film. And I'm just copying the information. Now, I don't have to. I could say it won, because we all know that we're talking about the category of Best Picture, so I don't need to repeat. I could say Everything, Everywhere, All at Once won for Best Picture, but that emphasis and the clarification is stronger with the it-clef. It was Everything, Everywhere, All at Once that won. Okay, again, it-clefs have two parts, two clauses. We have our main clause, and then it's followed by a dependent clause, which is an adjective clause, and that helps us identify who or what exactly we're talking about. Okay, the other type of cleft is a WH-cleft. WH-clefts, WH like a WH question. Sometimes we also talk about embedded questions, which are noun clauses. They kind of look like questions because they start with a question word, like what, how, or why. But they are not worded like a question because they use regular sentence word order, subject, verb. When we ask a question, we switch it around. We invert, correct? I say, do you? Do you know that movie? Have you? Have you seen that movie? So real questions use question word order. We invert the subject and verb. But when we have embedded questions, WH questions, we go back to sentence word order, statement word order, subject verb. Okay? Yes. I'd say, especially in American English, if it's an identifying adjective clause, there's a preference for that rather than which. Okay? Look at this. What we don't need are more remakes. Remakes are those movies that keep updating. Now, some of them are good, like A Star is Born with Lady Gaga. Have you seen that? Good movie. But I think there were two other movies before that with the same name, A Star is Born, and the same basic idea. So sometimes they take an old movie and they update it. It's a remake. So, updating old movies are remakes, and we seem to have a lot of remakes these days. And I think that's one reason why Everything, Everywhere, All at Once gained so much popularity, because it wasn't a remake, it wasn't a sequel, it was just so original. And I think we, as audience members, as moviegoers, really craved that. The good word, crave. When you crave something, what does that mean? Okay. Crave is like you have cravings when you want to eat, like you crave chocolate or you crave mashed potatoes, right? You have a craving, you want it, you desire it. And I think movie lovers, we want something new every so often. We get tired of the remakes, right? I agree. More original stories is what we need. Well done. So the WH questions could be in a subject position, as I wrote here. What we don't need are more remakes. The basic sentence, subject, verb, complement. That's it. Just like, that's not what we need, or this is what we need. But my whole WH clause, the whole embedded question, the whole noun clause is my subject. So again, there are two parts. We have the noun clause, which is dependent, right? It can't stand by itself. It has to be part of a longer sentence. So when I say there are two parts, two clauses, we're talking about complex sentences. So I'll say, just like the it-clef, also, a complex sentence with two clauses. So we have the dependent clause, and it's part of the bigger sentence, which is my main clause. And I'm starting it again with this focus. I'm clarifying. What don't we need? I could say, we don't need more remakes. That's fine. But for emphasis, what we don't need are more remakes. What we need are more original stories. I could simply say, we need more original stories. But for emphasis, what we need, what we really need right now, are more original stories. Right, Manuel. Say like somebody lost the car keys and somebody and the people in the family are wondering who did it, whose fault it is. And Manuel says, okay, guys, it was me. It was me who lost them. I'm sorry. Right? So if you want to clarify who it was, you can use those it-clefts. Yep. So try this out. I use the WH question at the beginning in the subject position. And I'm doing that for focus, for emphasis. I want you to take these ideas and use a WH-cleft. A good movie needs an awesome soundtrack. I don't want to see another live-action Disney movie. Not necessarily true. There are some good ones. By the way, I love Cinderella. The live-action Cinderella is amazing. I think it's so well done. Cate Blanchett was the stepmother. Talk about good acting. Cate Blanchett did a wonderful job in that live-action Disney movie. She's an amazing actress, and I thought it was wonderful that she took on this role in a Disney movie, and she really brought some depth to a fairy tale character. So I really liked the live-action Cinderella movie. But again, Disney is probably taking every single fairy tale and turning it into a live action movie like Beauty and the Beast, Mulan. And again, I feel like what we don't need are more remakes. We need some things that are original, like that one. Okay. All right. What I don't want to see, car keys. More original stories is what we need. Some remakes. I could, yes. Yes, there are some good remakes. Yes. What a good movie needs is, what I don't want to see is, yes, car keys. You guys are doing, what I need is more time to sleep. Danielle, a good example. What we all need is quality sleep. Oh, yes, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Yeah, and these are very conversational, especially these WH-clefts. Do you know what I really need? What I really need is a day at the spa or something. So they're not formal necessarily. We could use them in conversation for clarity, for emphasis. Okay? What we need are more stories, more is what we need. See, I'm of the idea that if this is plural, I'm tempted to say what we need are more remakes, because I would also say more remakes are what we need. So I'd think about how would I structure it otherwise, and I know if I put more remakes as my subject, then I would need a plural verb. So my instincts are telling me to use a plural here because remakes are plural. So, and the truth is, in everyday conversation, if you change this to is, I really don't think most listeners are going to care one way or the other. This is the kind of grammar where it's a little bit gray. If you spoke quickly and relaxed, what we need is more original stories. Most people aren't going to bat an eye at whether you use singular or plural. No one will bat an eye. Good expression. Let's write that down. Bat an eye at. Like blink, right? If somebody does something strange or wrong, we blink because we need a moment to process what we just heard or saw. And we use this idiom to say, I don't think most people will notice or care one way or the other. So I feel that I would use a plural verb here because remakes and stories are plural, because also if I restructured the sentence, I would still need a plural verb. More original stories are what we need. What we need are more original stories. So, okay, a good movie. So down here, what a good movie needs is an awesome soundtrack. Okay. What a good movie needs is an awesome soundtrack. There's my WH question. What a good movie needs. And remember, it's not a real question, so we don't say what does a good movie need. It's not a question. We use subject verb. What a good movie needs is an awesome soundtrack. And I saw you guys have the correct sentence. More remakes are what we need. Yeah, if you say, no, Jennifer, I like the remakes, more updates, that's what we need. Okay. What I don't want to see is another live action Disney movie. Okay. So it-clefts and WH-clefts are just ways we clarify and emphasize. Again, the clefts have two parts. There's an independent and a dependent clause. With the it-clefts, we have the relative clause. Down here, we have the WH question, the embedded question, as our dependent clause. Okay? And that answers the question about clefts. Again, join as a member and you'll get some follow-up practice after this live stream. Moving along, I promised that for April, I would teach you some vocabulary. Let me see if if I can get this up higher. Oh, that works. Okay, let me see if I can get everything on my screen. Okay, if I go smaller, I hope you can still see. I apologize for those who are watching on a phone. Maybe if I put that together, I can go a little bit bigger again. So much I want to share, it's hard to fit on the screen. How's that? True, right? Jamie Lee Curtis, by the way, speaking about Halloween and Halloween movies, Jamie Lee Curtis has done some just fun, what we call like popcorn movies. Nothing too dramatic, but she won her first Oscar for Everything Everywhere All at Once. There's actually 2 supporting actresses who were nominated, and she won. She had never won before, and it was a very special moment for her. She is the daughter of 2 famous entertainers, so she teared up thinking about her parents and how proud they would be that she finally got an Oscar late in her career. So it was I don't watch the Oscars much these days, but I was happy for a lot of the winners this year, like Michelle Yeoh, like Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah, so I thought it was special. And also the male supporting actress in that movie who gained fame as a child in Goonies and Indiana Jones. So lots of happy wins for people in their later in their careers. It was a good thing to see. What I love to see are those late victories. See, I just used a WH-cleft. Okay. Oh, good, Daniela. Thank you for confirming. Stunning Lad 1, I see you know your trivia. All right, guys, here are 4 expressions. 2 are from a video. I will put this link. Actually, I'll put it. Watch. Let me watch. I'll work my little bit of magic. There is an older video I have. I just put the link there. That is an older video on spring, and I teach some expressions related to spring or the word spring. 2 of them are spring in one step and spring into action. Okay? And then today, connected to new beginnings, because spring is a new beginning. I love all the green leaves that will soon appear and the flowers that will start to blossom. Spring is about new beginnings, so we'll have the expression turn over a new leaf and shake things up. So perhaps a few of these are new. If they're old, perhaps you know them. Do you use them? Can you use them? So let's gain some practice. What do they mean? I have an example. I'd like you to match it to one of these meanings. After receiving the promotion, Dave walked with a spring in his step. How did he walk? Manuel is on the ball. Right? He's focused, he's correct, he's sharp, and he's focused. Manuel is on the ball. If you have, yes, you're full of energy and proud. So I'd also say quickly and happily is another way. There's different ways, but it's all positive. Quickly and happily. Right. Light. You have a light feeling, and that reflects in your walk. Seeing a customer fall to the ground, my cousin sprang into action to help. My cousin works as an EMT, so it was a natural response. EMT, right? Like a paramedic, emergency medical technician. He sprang into action. What did he do? Oh, that's another one, Daniela, with his head in the... If your head is in the clouds, though, it's more like you're dreaming. So it's another good expression. But when your head is in the clouds, not so much about well, it could be happy dreaming, but you're not grounded. You're not being realistic. Different expression. When somebody springs into action, what does that mean? Oh, thank you for saving the playlist. Oh, Manuel, good for you. Change can be a good thing, right? If you spring into action, leap into action is another way we say it. Leaping and springing are sudden movements. You don't wait, you just do it. Suddenly acted. So he suddenly acted, he sprang into action. Spring is an irregular verb. Spring, sprang. And yeah, I like that you can self-correct. Good job. My hippo, you're on the ball as well. Okay. Spring into action, spring in one step. Turn over a new leaf. This is true, I used to have poor sleep habits, but I've turned over a new leaf and I'm going to bed earlier. I'm really trying hard. I even have this chart in my bedroom. It's a dry erase board, so I'm tracking how many hours I sleep. I know you could use your phone, but I need to see the chart, and I do it for a whole month, and I try to see the patterns. Am I improving, or am I staying the way everything used to be, which is not good, because I sometimes would get too many nights close to 6 hours. 6 hours I can function, but it's just not enough. So I'm trying to get 7 to 8 hours every night, and I'm doing much better, and I feel much better. But boy, it's hard. Anyone else struggle, with good sleep habits? I want to have them. Who doesn't want to have them? So, but I've decided, nope, I'm going to change. I've turned over a new leaf. What did I do? Daniela, yes, you could do that. When I open my door, but you don't open the door with your sneakers. It sounds like you're trying to use your sneakers on your hands. When I'm in my sneakers and I open the door, I spring into action and go for a run. You could say something like that. Isn't it interesting, Daniela, what you do with a prepositional phrase? Because the way that you wrote it, it sounds like you're trying to use your sneakers to open the door. Either the sneakers are on your hands, or you're trying to open the doors with your feet. So I would say when I'm in my sneakers and I open the door, I then spring into action, and I can spring into action and go for a run, something like that. Oh, yes, Daniela, this is one of the number one tips people say is put your phone away, right? Don't look at your phone before bedtime. And we're all so guilty of that. At least I was in the past. I'm much better now. I only use the phone right now if I'm listening to a meditation, something soothing or relaxing, but no news, no email before bedtime. So I've turned over a new leaf. I made a positive change. Let's change that to made. Okay, X. So if you turn over a new leaf, you're making a positive change. Actually, I'll put this in the present. And usually this one, by the way, is like walking. Whoopsies. Didn't mean to do that. Okay, which means shake things up. It's about a disruption. Listen to the example. Sometimes a new manager with fresh ideas is needed to shake things up and help a business grow. What does the person do? They create a disruption, which doesn't sound like a good thing necessarily, but if business is not where you want it to be and it's not growing, it's not doing well, you need to change something, right? Let's get rid of that. So if you shake things up, things will fall differently, and hopefully they will fall into a new place that will allow you to function better and grow more. A new broom sweeps clean. I like, is that a proverb? Stunning loud one. A new broom sweeps clean. Okay. It's all about new beginnings. So has anyone else turned over a new leaf? I've told you about my sleep habits. Manuel has turned over a new leaf in his personal life with his relationships. Does anyone need to shake things up in your daily routine? Maybe you're feeling bored and it's monotonous. You need to shake things up and do something differently. So a business can shake things up with new hires, with new strategies, but we can also shake things up in our daily lives, in our daily routines. How can you shake things up and make things fresh and exciting? You can give an example. And again, if you're a member, stick around, and later in the day, you'll get a follow-up task and you can gain some practice and come up with your own examples for a spring in one step, spring into action, turn over a new leaf, and shake things up. Okay? Change, new approach. Good. Nice way to say it. I like that you guys are helping each other. Okay. All right. So, new expressions. We had new grammar up there. It-clefts, WH-clefts. Members will be able to, you can even create some examples now. You've started, you can continue, but I'll invite you to do so on the community tab as well. What's your spelling? Turn over. When I run to work, I turn over a new leaf and get much more money. Do you mean like when you run to work, like you have more energy? When I run to work, I turn over. Maybe you could say, or do you mean that you used to always drive or ride a bus, and by running or walking to work, you're becoming more physically active, which is good for your health, right? So perhaps really, Alex, you could say, I've turned over a new leaf and now I run to work. You know, this gives me so much energy, I'm more productive, and I make more money. Something like that. You are not old, Daniela. I'm an old lady inside, so it's hard for me to shake things up. Right. But you know what I've heard? It's good advice is they say, if it's hard for you to make big changes, start with something small, super, super small. Like look in your closet and see if there's a shirt that you don't wear very often and put on that shirt. It's just something different. Or have something slightly different for breakfast. Just change something small, and that might create this ripple effect. Let me write that phrase. Ripples like water, so if you create a ripple effect, that one small change might create other changes. So if you're afraid of doing something drastic, right, something big, make the small change and it might create this ripple effect. If you need to shake things up and that sounds a little too disruptive for you, then start with some gentle shaking, okay? Shaking things up. All Daniela needs. We could use a clef. What Daniela needs is a little shaking up. All right? It's shaking up that scares me. There's ways you can use it clefs there. Okay? Spring into action, right? I'm sure there's something that would make you spring into action. And also what can motivate you, Daniela, or anyone, is thinking about if you made those changes and you see how you want to be and how you want to live, that very thought, that very vision can give you a spring in your step. When I think about what I want to do and how I want to live, like in the next 5 years, it makes me happy. And I think, gosh, if I can do that, if I can achieve that, that would be great. And so that very thought gives me some positivity and optimism. So I'm not there yet. I haven't done what I want to do, but the thought about achieving it gives me this happiness, and that can give you a spring in your step. So thinking about your future can give you a spring in your step. Okay? Ripple. Mr. Ripley. All right. It was the advice that I needed. Great grammar there. All right, guys, guess what I have? I know that somebody, I think Daniela, it might have been you, said, can we have a poem? I love poems too. And stay tuned for the rest of the year because I do have a project I'm working on. And it's one of the many things I hope to do. But I'd like to have a project based on poetry. And once I create it and it's ready, I will definitely tell you about it. And if you like to enjoy poetry too, I hope you enjoy what I plan to create. Oh, that's a good one. When I heard news about my dad, I went home, all past tense, I went home with a spring in my step. So maybe you were worried about your dad, you heard something good, or maybe he was away, he came home. Something positive makes you feel happy and you're excited now. So you can walk with a spring in your step. What we all need, what we need are more poems. What everyone needs. You could say what, and again, I could see the singular. What everyone needs is poetry in their lives. Sarah Teasdale, I might have shared some of her poems in the past. She's an American poet, lived 1884 to 1933. And this is a very short poem, good for our live stream because we're winding down. It's called May Night. Let me zoom like this and let me read it for you. And I just want you to listen, think about the meaning, and enjoy the flow of ideas and the music and the rhythm that she's created for us. Okay, so this is by Sarah Teasdale, May Night. The spring is fresh and fearless, and every leaf is new. The world is brimmed with moonlight, the lilac brimmed with dew. Here in the moving shadows, I catch my breath and sing. My heart is fresh and fearless and overbrimmed with spring. Beautiful, isn't it? I think most of it should be familiar to you. This might be a new word. For some, brimmed. Who can tell me what a brim is? Where do we find a brim? There's a couple places, but here's your hint. Think about this. Where's the brim? The brim. So the brim as a noun, here we're using it as a verb. Passive, brimmed with moonlight. It's used actually 3 times. Look at that. The world is brimmed with moonlight, the lilac brimmed with dew. Here, over-brimmed, suggesting too much, an overflow. Brim on a cup. So when we fill up a cup, this is the brim, the edge, right? And you never want to fill it to the brim because then it can overflow. You'd have trouble picking it up and carrying it somewhere. But brimming, if you're brimming with something, think of your cup. And if you're brimming with happiness, your cup is so full that happiness is almost overflowing. So we can use this in a very poetic way. The world is brimmed with moonlight, full, right? Full, basically. The world is full of moonlight. The lilac brimmed with dew, like the flowers. Do you see how they have dew on them? The little droplets of moisture is called dew. We see dew in the grass, dew on the grass in the morning. But imagine like a flower, like a cup holding the water, the moisture, brimmed. It's full of dew, basically. But here, your heart is like a container, like a cup. And how do you feel? My heart is fresh and fearless and over brimmed with spring. So if this is your ability to feel spring, over brimmed with spring, right? Over brimmed, full of spring. So my question for you is, where is the speaker and what exactly is the speaker feeling? Let me read it once more and you can type your ideas. I'd love to hear your reactions. Yes. Yes, dew becomes wet. It's the moisture on plants, on grass that collects during over the night, and in the morning we see it as droplets of dew. Again, the spring is fresh and fearless, and every leaf is new. The The world is brimmed with moonlight, the lilac brimmed with dew. Here in the moving shadows, I catch my breath and sing. My heart is fresh and fearless and overbrimmed with spring. Oh, that's beautiful, Daniela. The garden is brimmed with moonlight. Brimmed with moonlight. Yep, she's in perhaps a garden, because obviously she can see lilacs, but she's referring to the moonlight. So, in moving shadows, it's not morning yet, is it? It's night. It sounds like she's in the quiet of the night, perhaps outside in her garden, and it's maybe late night, could be the wee hours of the morning because there are shadows. And it seems like there's solitude. She's alone, and there's that beautiful quiet that she's found in this moment. And it's a good moment because her heart is fresh and fearless, just like spring is fresh and fearless and overbrimmed with spring. So the beauty of spring itself and the energy of spring itself is filling her, and it's overflowing, right? And it's May, right? At this point, spring is in full swing, so it must be a very beautiful night, right? Okay. What I also like about this is we see fearless 2 times. That's a good reminder of the suffix, L-E-S-S. And I want to do a quick little test. This is our final exercise right now. Vocabulary building. I'm going to see how quickly you can type. Fearless means without fear. When we have less, we're taking something away. So what are the words that I know that you know? Without doubt. Without love, without hope, without a brain, without pain, without a point, without the constraints of time, without words, without friends, without, this is the challenge one, without a single dirty spot. She, because Sarah Teasdale, Sarah's the poet. I'm assuming that the poet, if is a woman's, probably writing from the perspective of a woman, she. But you never know. The narrator could be anybody. Just because the poet is a woman doesn't necessarily mean that the speaker is a woman, right? When you're a writer, you can write from different perspectives, but I just naturally say she because Sarah Teasdale was a woman. Manuel is on fire. Doubtless. Loveless, like a loveless relationship would be a sad one. Oh yeah, good examples. Beatlet. Hopeless. Whoopsies. This would be an insulting word if you call someone brainless. Oh, stunning lad one with your generosity. Thank you so much. Looks like the sticker is, she's brimming with joy. And her hair is brimming with purple. Thank you so much. Painless. We hope that every doctor visit would be painless, right? Hopefully everything we do has a point. We don't want to engage in activities that are pointless. Timeless, right? Sometimes we see descriptions of romantic love in a movie. Their love is timeless, like Romeo and Juliet, right? And with wordless, right? Their exchange can be wordless, but Romeo and Juliet looked at each other and they understood the love between them. It was wordless. Friendless is a sad thing to be. I hope we all appreciate our friends. And take the word spot. Oh, good one. Flawless. Maheba, just change that to an A. Flawless, right? Without a flaw, without a mistake, without any kinds of weaknesses. Good, Realm Alex. Wordless, timeless. Super. Friendless. Oh, you guys are... And what about that number 10? Yes, you got it, right? Here's a question for you. How many of you would say your kitchen is spotless? Can you say that? Or on a scale of 1 to 10, how spotless is your kitchen? You know, mine isn't horrific. I would not say every part of it is spotless. I have a dog, so it's definitely never spotless. On a scale of 1 to 10, on a good day, I could say 6, maybe even 7. Well, I don't think I can ever say it's at a 10, though. Oh, ruthless. That's a good one, right? For a villain who is ruthless, right? They have no mercy, no sympathy. Excellent. Super job, guys. Okay, we're at the hour mark. I'll be winding down. You guys did super, super. Just to recap, what did we do? Quite a lot, quite a lot. We went over it-clefts. We went over WH-clefts. You will get more practice as a member. We looked at 4 idioms, spring in one step, spring into action, turn over a new leaf, shake things up. And if you look in the chat, there were quite a number of other expressions that we highlighted as we chatted. And I shared this poem by Sarah Teasdale. If you like it, learn it, say it, record yourself, right? Enjoy poetry. That poetry is there for us to enjoy, right? Knowledge is there to fill our mind. Poetry is there to fill our hearts and our souls. We need music. We need poetry. We need these things. Mm-hmm. Spotless. You're right, Danielle. It's not unusual context for spotless, but I know if we talk like a parking spot, it's spotless. I get what you're saying. We just say, there's no parking. I can't find a spot. It's hopeless. I can't find a place to park my car, right? Oh, Daniela, you're amazing. Lackluster. Oh, there's a good one. Okay. We also went over LESS, a suffix that we use in so many words to say the opposite with or the absence of something, right? So there's a lot of words that you can create by adding LESS, usually something negative. But painless, of course, is a good thing, right? You can't do it with all adjectives, though. Okay, so YouTube members, visit the community tab later today for follow-up tasks. Click that join button and you will get access to member-only posts, okay? Remember, there are always opportunities to ask questions. I'll have another live stream in May. Usually it's the first Friday, and we will have another opportunity to study together. I promise 30 minutes. As you see, my usual habit is I can't stop. I get sucked into the joy of teaching, and I usually go for a full hour. But I promise a half hour. That's the minimum. If you are a member, thank you, because you not only give me people to teach, you also support my channel. Memberships help support my work, and I truly appreciate that, so thank you. I also appreciate the super thanks and the super stickers. Stunning Lad 1, you're awesome with your support. Thank you for your generosity. On Patreon, it's another way to support me. Kind-hearted patrons make a $2 donation. I also give you a shout out, and I really appreciate all my kind-hearted patrons. Some people have been kind-hearted patrons for more than a year now, and they make their monthly donation, and I greatly appreciate that generous support. Thank you. But you can always go to Patreon, of course, and actually study with me. For those of you who are advanced and who want to read in English, why not read my story, guys? I don't know. A few people have read it. Actually, a few of the members have bought it, and I thank you for opening up the book and listening to my story. So the few of you I know who bought the book, thank you. And actually, one of you used a private session to ask me about some of the expressions. So there's another reason to get the book, is because I write it in a very conversational tone, and reading it exposes you to the language I would use in everyday English, and you might pick up some new expressions. So if you want to hear about my journey on YouTube, you can get my book. It's on Amazon and Barnes & Nobles, but Amazon is where most people go. Okay. All right. So just a recap of opportunities. You have just 2 hours left to register for the speaking club. We meet tomorrow, 12 noon. That's 5 Saturdays in a row. There will be large group and small group practice. This is for B1 to advanced. Okay. B1 to advanced. Click and read about the details. It's a good deal for 5 weeks. Lots of practice. A great platform that allows you basically to get practice every day because there are other Amigo members in other clubs. So there's a way to get safe practice. And I mean safe because you just don't want to get some random person on the internet for practice. This is a community and there are guidelines and they keep it safe for learners to connect with other people who want to gain speaking practice. Okay, so that's an opportunity for B1 and higher. If you're B2 and higher, Patreon is something to check out. This is ongoing learning. If you love learning, if you love what we did, but imagine you not just using a chat, imagine cameras and mics on. That's what we do on Patreon. It's a nice welcoming group. We have two live classes now a month, and they are extended. I promise 75 minutes. That's the minimum. Hopefully I won't go too far over that, but it's an hour of class time and 50 minutes for Q&A. I promise pre and post lesson tasks. That's a minimum of 4 practice tasks. I focus on all skills. So the speaking club is great for conversation, idioms, things like that. But lifelong learners know that there needs to be attention given to all skills. And that's what we do. You will have opportunities to speak, to listen, to read, and to write. You do need to be at least B2 because I share videos and authentic articles. So you need to have the ability to access that level of English. There's community interaction. As soon as you join, you get access to a lot of older posts, so it is a treasure trove of resources right now. And you get private messaging with me, which is a nice deal. So please consider if you are B2 or higher, it's an advanced, if you are an advanced learner looking for ongoing support, it's a great opportunity for you. Okay, don't forget LingQ is another place to gain practice on your own. Check it out for free. Use my link, it's in the chat. It was created by Steve Kaufman. And I'm telling you again, guys, I'd love to share my story. If you think you know other people who'd like to hear the story, please feel free to share the link with them. Go to Amazon, find it, and share. Okay. All right, guys. No. Oh, yes, you did buy the book. Thank you. How much lessons a month do you teach on YouTube? For YouTube members, you get this live stream once a month. I promise a minimum of 30 minutes. As you see, I like to go over, but you also get follow-up tasks. As soon as you become a YouTube member, you also have access to an archive of older live streams. There was a time in the past where I was having live streams for members only. I've saved all of those. And so you have access to about 13 hours of recorded instruction as well. So there are a lot of different perks you can get for just $1 a month. Okay. Yes, I do private lessons, but I'm very booked. But if you really want to explore that, message me, write me, and I'll tell you my availability. A lot of not a lot, but a good number of private students actually are either YouTube members and or Patreon members. So there are ways to combine all of these opportunities. So think about what your needs are and what I'm able to offer you. Okay? Thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful weekend. For those celebrating Easter, happy Easter. Good Friday to those who are observing it. Thank you for joining me here. And I wish everyone a beautiful weekend. I look forward to seeing at least one of you guys tomorrow in the speaking club. And thank you guys. Have a beautiful, beautiful day.